Well, that is a delicious looking bowl of soup. It's not hard to make. Let me show you what to do. When you try this recipe, you'll be back for seconds. Guaranteed, it's good. Well, hello. Welcome to my kitchen. This is Texas Cooking Today. I'm Stuart, and today I'm making some chicken soup. Simple chicken soup. Well, or is it simple? Folks, chicken soup is delicious, and a lot of times chicken soup is just kind of bare bones and simple. A little bit of chicken broth, some chicken, some carrots and onions, boom, chicken soup. But sometimes I want to go a little bit further than that. Sometimes I want something a little more hearty, a little more like you would get it on the farm. So today I'm going to do a country style chicken soup. And folks, let's be real, it starts with the chicken. We start with one chicken and move into making delicious. This is real easy to do. So come on over, we'll show you everything there is to it. Before we get started though, I'd like to mention two things. One, chef's thermometers. We all use chef's thermometers. You use them in your kitchen? No? Then you should be. Let me tell you something. Chef's thermometers not only tell you if your food is safe to eat, they tell you when the chicken is done the right amount without overcooking it. They tell you when the turkey is done to the right amount without it being dry. They tell you when your food is going to be perfect, okay? And they help you with a lot of things. So folks, there's a link in the description box for this right here. This is a Chef's Temp. It is a wonderful thermometer. Well, as you see, I've got some really good looking stuff here for chicken soup, but looky here, it starts with this guy. Now this is a 4.5 pound chicken. Just no frills, just go out and buy a chicken. And the size really doesn't matter, folks. The only reason I tell you it's 4.5 pounds is so you know what I'm starting with. I'm going to cover this with water. I need to put hot water in here and get it started boiling. All right, now over here we got lots of goodies. This I didn't want to just go plain. I wanted it hearty. Lots of color, lots of nutrients, and a lot of flavor. So in addition to our chicken, we've got some carrots, we've got fennel, I've got potato, onion, sweet peppers, garlic, tarragon, thyme, and a little bit of salt. And folks, with some patience, we get one absolutely incredible soup. So this is as simple as we start with the bird and then we get on with the vegetables. In the event you're wondering, why didn't he use chicken stock? Well, folks, we're about to make it right here. We're creating our own. That's the reason we use a whole chicken. We get the flavor of everything, the flavor of the meat, the flavor of the skin, the fat, the bones, all of it. And that makes a delicious soup. That's the reason this method is king when it comes to making chicken soup. Now, some things on my vegetables, I just don't want that peel in them. So I'll just go ahead and remove that sucker. Now this is the kind of thing where if you like a peel on potatoes, go ahead and leave it on there, folks. So I like to just remove that. And these are beautiful carrots. They got incredible color. Something I want to mention about this vegetable right here. This is, some people call this fennel, some people call it anise. Either way, it has a slightly licorice-like flavor to it, but it is extremely fibrous, all right, and way more fibrous than celery, okay? So definitely cut the pieces really short if you're going to use the stems on this. Don't cut long pieces. I like little 1/8-inch slices, okay? And that way they're not troublesome to chew. Bigger pieces can be difficult to chew if this doesn't have a very long simmer time, and this will not be that kind of a dish. All right, and it doesn't take a whole lot of this to go just a long way when it comes to the flavor of anything, okay? On your onion, you can just cut slices, or on these you can dice it, all right? And very simple, when you're going to dice an onion, do yourself a favor and quarter it. You can just make a couple of downward cuts like I'm doing, leaving the root intact. And it makes that dice come out so very easy. Now these, all I want are some colored rings. I don't want them to be real hard, real wide. Now this garlic, all I need to do is just slice it nice and thin. On a dish like this that you're going to be cooking for a while, you can just crush this and throw it on in, but I'm not going to fish it out later, and I want the pieces to be noticeable. So what I'm going to do here is just make some nice thin slices. Be careful. There we go. And we got our garlic. There we have it. All of our goodies are ready to go. Okay, that was that. Wasn't much to it. It's just cutting up some vegetables is all. They're all ready. So this all goes into that pot after the chicken is shredded. Now, here's the thing. How do you know if the chicken is done? Well, it's simple. You put it in the pot, you bring the pot to a boil, lower it to simmer, and let it sit there and simmer for a while. After about an hour of simmering, you're going to come in, you're going to test it. You're going to take some tongs and lift up on one of the chicken legs. If the leg tears free easily, it's cooked and ready to go. If it holds on, then you need to cook it a little bit longer. That's how you know. That leg bone will simply pull right out of the meat when it's fully cooked. And that's where we want it. Now, as far as what parts of the chicken we're going to use, well, it's easy. We're going to use all of the meat, dark meat and white meat. It's up to you if you want to use the skin. Most people don't, and I don't really prefer to use anything else of the chicken, just the white and dark meat. Just that simple. So we'll get that cooked up. It's delicious. And when you try it, you're going to be surprised at how good such a simple soup like this can be. You've seen the bulk of the work. What I just did right here, that's the majority of the work. Shredding the meat isn't that hard. However, when we first take the chicken out, it's going to be hot. So I'll take it out and set it on a cooling rack over a plate or something like that and let it cool for about 15 minutes. That's usually enough to be able to handle it safely. They generally cool off pretty quick. So there it is. We're just waiting on the chicken to cook. I'll check it in about an hour. Alrighty, so he is now up to a full boil. That's looking good. I'm just going to keep it covered, and as I said, later on to test this, you just pull up on one of those legs. It either comes free or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, cook it for an extra 20 or 25 minutes and it'll pretty much take care of the job. Okay, this has been an hour in the cooking, and I had just had this open a moment ago checking on it. It was boiling a little more briskly than it is now, so it was simmering quite well. And anyway, I came in to test this to see if it's ready after 1 hour of cooking. I'm just going to grab the end of one of these drumsticks and we're going to pull up on it. Okay, see how it's starting to pull free, but it's really hanging in there? That means we've done a lot of cooking and it's getting close, but it ain't ready yet. So I'm going to give this guy another, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. I'll check it in about 20 minutes. If that leg just pulls free from that meat, then it's done and we're ready to go. Otherwise, we cook it a little longer. All right, it has now been a total of 1.5 hours. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to give it another 20 or 30 minutes of cook time and then check it again. Now, last time I checked this leg, so this time I want to check the opposite one. We're just going to pull his leg and see what we get here. What do we get? Oh, now looky there, ladies and gentlemen. I pulled his leg and look what I got. I got me a leg bone. That means that chicken is ready to be pulled out of there and cooled off because the cooking is done. Look at that. So pulling one of these out, you need to be careful. Remember, you got a lot of boiling hot liquid here. I like to just, with my tongs, kind of grab it, watch him pull apart. Don't worry about it. We're just going to transfer him right over here. Now the nice thing about this being cooked like this, where it's just falling apart, when it comes to shredding the meat, it goes really quick and easy. Okay, these gloves are a bit helpful for making my cleanup after I shred the chicken a whole lot easier. But also, it's a little neater, cleaner, and it protects against some of the heat on that meat, okay? Now my meat has cooled down some, but some of the parts are gonna be still quite hot. Those breasts retain heat for quite some time. So that's also the reason I have the knife out. Sometimes the breasts being so large, I don't want real long pieces of meat when I shred this. I want shorter pieces, and this will help if I need that. Okay, so we'll start, oops. This thing's coming apart on me. This is the back part of, and there's one of the oysters right there. I'm going to pull that out. Okay. Now what I've got are a couple of bowls up here. One for my meat and the other for the bones and things that I don't want. Okay. Like that. Okay. And I generally will do a really good job of stripping down a bird like this. I don't like to leave much meat sitting behind, all right? Because, you know, there's a lot of really good stuff on some of these bones, like that right there. It's not a big piece of meat, but it's a good one right there. This, the skin, generally I don't like to put that in my soup, so I just toss it aside. The dark meat almost always just comes apart so easy for you. Look at that. And all you have to do on some of those bigger pieces is just pull them apart. Don't make this too much work, okay? Because frankly, you know, there needs to be that kind of that homespun side to this dish. And having just rough pieces of meat, not pieces that are cubed or cut with a knife, having it just shredded lends to that, okay? This is a homemade dish, folks. Oops, looky there. It's another oyster right there. Beautiful, delicate, dark meat that's just really good. Okay, so here we are in these breasts. And like I said, they're going to be piping hot still, and they are. And so are the tenders that are underneath them. There they are. But as you've seen, this has only taken me moments to get done what I've already done, which is a huge amount of the chicken. Pretty much the majority of the dark meat right there. Okay, so I have this white meat going on though. And as I said, sometimes shredding it smaller is difficult because of its length. So that's what the knife is for. We're just going to break down that length a little bit so that the parts that we shred a little easier. Okay, there we go. Just like that. There we have it, folks. Okay, and as I mentioned, cleanup is a breeze when you glove up. I'm ready to move on. Okay, now my broth, which I have kept on this simmer, is good and hot. I need to get my vegetables in here. Now you notice how I pour that away from me? And that's to keep any splashing away from me, okay? And the same thing here. Need to get our meat back in here. All right, a couple of little pieces. So what we have, look at this big, thick, hearty soup that is filled from top to bottom with goodness. All I need to do is cook this until the carrots and the potatoes are tender. And ladies and gentlemen, after that, if I wish to thicken the broth a little bit to give it some body, I can do that. Right now it needs a little bit of seasoning, not much. I'll start with a little salt, which it's had none of to this point, and I want to put in about a half of a teaspoon to a teaspoon there. So I've got some thyme here, and this is rubbed thyme. I'm using, a little less than a teaspoon, about 3/4 of a teaspoon, really, right there. And tarragon. Now the tarragon I can use a little more of. I could like to go for about a full teaspoon. I want to break it up just a little bit before breaking it in there, okay? There we go. Now, all I need to do, bring this back up to a boil, which I'll be able to do in short order, and let it simmer. Now folks, my soup has been cooking long enough for the vegetables to have become nice and tender. I've already checked them. The carrots are nice and soft, the potatoes have become tender, and now I just need to thicken this up a little bit. Now, the thing of it is you could have it just like it is. It's going to be really thin and brothy. I don't really like this soup that way. I like the liquid in my soup to have a little more body to it. And I like to use cornstarch to get it that way. So, guess what I'm going to do? I'll use anywhere from 2 to 3 tablespoons. If you notice, I don't measure it. I just kind of throw some in the liquid there. And I am using cold water to dissolve this. When you first try to stir it together, it will not want to stir together. Be patient with it, okay? It takes it a few minutes, but it will dissolve, and when it does so quickly. It wants to just sit on the bottom and kind of feels like it cakes up, and then eventually it just kind of breaks loose, boom, like it just did. And now we have a dissolved mixture. Okay, at this point, I want to take this and put it right down there, right into this. Now, you always want to stir as you're adding this. If not, you can end up with parts of the liquid that are kind of thick and gelatinous in a very weird way. And it's really not cool. So stir it as you're adding it, and that way you get the right effect, all right? There we go. And I'm going to let that boil for just a moment more. Now the quantity of everything that I started with a 4.5 pound chicken, and then I didn't really measure weights or anything. I just wanted a medium potato, a medium onion, a little bit of fennel stalk, and I knew that 6 or 8 inches of that would be more than enough. I wanted some sweet peppers, and I didn't want a whole lot, and I wanted color, so I picked out 2 yellow, 2 orange, and 2 reds, and boom, there we had it. 4 carrots, medium size, and of course some cloves of garlic, and on that just really depends on your taste. I used 3 of them, but one of them is really big. It's about the size of 2. So on this, when it comes to flavoring it with herbs, thyme, tarragon, things like that, always start with about a teaspoon. After you've cooked for a bit, taste it, see if you like it and want some more, or, leave it the way it is. Very easy to do. Now let's take a look at what we've created. All right. Now, the part that I like the most, right here, getting to enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, look at that beautiful soup. There's so much going on there. All the color. There's just so much meat. Get some of those potatoes. Yeah. That's what I was hoping for right there. An incredible bowl of soup. I think maybe a little bit of toast to go with that. Some sourdough. Well, there we have it. It's bowled up and ready to enjoy. I put a little bit of toasted sourdough with mine just as an accompaniment. Nice thing to go with it. But that is a hearty soup that is going to fill bellies and be so, so delicious. Oh, that's good. The extra vegetables, they really add so much to this, to the flavor, to the color, to the nutritional value. It's just an enhancement all the way around. Folks, this is a great chicken soup recipe. It's a wonderful country style chicken soup. So please try this recipe and enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching these. Please take a look in that description box again. We have the thermometer. That's that Chef's Temp thermometer. It's a good one. It's worth you taking a look at. Also, that Wildgrain subscription. Wait till you taste that. You're gonna love me for suggesting it. Hey folks, enjoy your soup. My recipes are available at S.A.Trotter.com. The link is in the description like the rest of them. Please drop a message down below in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Don't forget to click the bell so you get reminders of when I post. And please enjoy that soup. Have a good day.